episode 1061 of Flow Wrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined by JD Rader, Tyler Meisinger, and making a triumphant, we'll call it a triumphant return. I don't know what's so triumphant about it. Ben Funky Askren. Ben, what's up?
By triumphant, I got another book out today. That's why I came on to talk to you guys.
That is a triumph. Extreme. We're going to talk about that book. Now, maybe as a little tease, is it because, I've been, Tyler has often lauded me for my extreme balance in the sport of wrestling. Yeah, just when I'm on one foot, it's just like, I'm just like a dancer out there. I just glide around. Can you confirm, Tyler, that this is true?
I'm not exaggerating, have the worst balance of any human I've ever interacted.
There's no way that's possible.
Dude, Ben.
Including toddlers.
Ben, I'm so serious. This guy is so stiff and it's crazy.
Balance versus flexibility.
Oh my God. They're both at war with each other.
Well, no, that's not. I don't think that's true because I can think of very, very inflexible guys who have great balance, and I can think of very flexible. Like I say, Marcus Blaze would have a great balance, and he's very flexible. And then who's someone who's stiff? Maybe like a Trent Hyde looks very stiff, but he generally has pretty good balance also.
More you're able to have one or the other. I'm saying our friend Christian here
has neither.
Has neither.
Yeah. Ofer. But that's okay. The Lord makes us all different.
A good P for P grip.
Yeah. Grip maybe is my only physical
power.
Attribute. We have so much to talk about today. My gosh. World Team Trials, absolutely amazing. We're going to talk about Jordan Burroughs. We're going to talk about David Taylor, Marcus Blaze. Holy cow. Going to definitely get into that. We'll talk a little, we'll get some of Ben's perspective on some of the Askren Wrestling Academy gang. But we got to start.
It wasn't a great weekend, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was tough. What?
It's all right.
JD, where do you want to start?
I think the biggest story probably is Jordan Burroughs. How good he looked, his expectations for Worlds. But let's just start there. Jordan Burroughs back on the World Team. Ben, is this what you expected? This version of Jordan Burroughs, is that what you expected to see?
Yeah, I think when the brackets were released, I think he had a pretty good chance of making the team. Dake and Nolf are not in the bracket, but he looked better against Chance than he has. So it's 3 years in a row they've wrestled in the Trials finals, and this was the best he's looked against him. So I guess I would say I'm surprised that he looked that good because he hasn't looked that good against Chance. But it was impressive. He was moving really, really well. I don't know if that was a focus of his, but I feel like he was almost moving better than he has in recent years.
Yeah, I thought for Jordan, it was a tough path going through Levi Haine, and we saw what he was able to get going on the backside. Levi looked really, really good. And we'll talk about him because I think he's a definite there's more than just this tournament. I think the impacts of what we just saw Levi Haine do. But he gets through Levi, really tough. And then the Daringer match, I thought Alex wrestled a nearly perfect first period and gave up that double at the end. And then it did feel like it sort of unraveled for Alex at the end there. And the double leg was the primary scoring maneuver for Jordan throughout this tournament. Now, one thing we saw, which I think, when Jordan Burroughs first launched into the scene, it was just the double leg show. So many doubles and great defense and just a gritty competitor. And then he's had through all these evolutions, and there's been winning at every evolution, but a lot of single legs and a lot of step outs. And he really kind of got away from the single leg.
He had a really good down block go behind for a while.
Yes. Yep. Down block go behind was great. And really the step out was a huge, huge factor for him throughout his career, but he really didn't need a lot of step outs. I'm not sure if he had any against Chance. No. It was really the ones and the double legs that were. It
was kind of like, to your point, he almost went back to the double leg like he hasn't. It was almost very reliant on the double leg, which was a surprise, right? And a great competitor keeps their opponents on their toes. And so it was a surprise to see him go back there, and he obviously had a ton of success there.
Yeah, really good. And for the difference as I saw it from Final X 22, 23, and now to 24 against Chance, he didn't let him get to his legs one time. He was not in one time. His head, his hands, his movement. He was. I talked with Coach Slay afterwards. He's like, it was a huge point of emphasis because all we were talking about Final X 23 is like, Chance just kept getting to his legs, and it was
Yeah.
really sort of shocking. And then
Yes.
they said that the point of emphasis was circling a certain direction that wasn't kind of leading right into Chance's shots and keeping his head in the way. And ultimately, that was what was required to knock off Chance and to make his 12th world team, which is an incredible.
So, hey, I see some people saying his 10th and some people saying his 12th. Can I confirm that 12 is correct?
Yeah, so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16,
There we go.
17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23,
So
24.
His
There we go.
10th world team, but his 12th world or Olympic
Two
team.
Olympics. Got it. Look at that. I made Christian count live on air. Make
Yeah.
sure he can do that.
I can. I can. Don't make me do it twice. So, yeah, that is his 12th senior world team. And
Impressive.
very impressive. And now I guess the question is, what are our thoughts on Jordan as a world champion? Everyone's asking, will Sidakov be there? All reports are that he will not be there at the World Championships.
Who do you think Russia will have then?
Magamayev, is that what they're saying, the guy's name?
The returning world champion is from Russia. His name was, let me look it up real quick.
He is.
Okay, and then I'm sure Iran will have someone good. It is Nakoti, which Jordan's beaten him, correct?
And he's beaten Jordan. I believe Jordan.
Oh, he has.
I believe he beat
Split.
Jordan at the World Cup. Jordan was
shoot.
tired.
It was his first ever loss to an Iranian.
Usmanov.
Usmanov. Thank you. So
Yeah.
it'll obviously be a big challenge. Do you think Jordan looks ready to go win a world title, Ben?
Yeah, I just said I think he looks better than he did in 22 and 23. If we, when in comparison to Chance, and that bracket was stacked at 79 also. So I don't see why not. I think there's probably only a couple guys who will be even competitive with him would be my guess.
Absolutely. Okay, so Jordan's comments after making the team, he kind of immediately he mentioned, like, I've shied away from the media over the last year, and he really has, in a way. Chael had said this is the most accessible guy in wrestling history that we've had media-wise, and he basically shut it out for months, if not a year. What were your thoughts on his comments about his experience at the Olympic trials, where he said he was angry at the venue, the fans, the arena, the wrestlers, the coaches, et cetera, et cetera. What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think I was still on the show when that happened. And I think we talked about how shocking it was that he was such a face for so long and that it turned into that. And, that was crowds can be ugly. Crowds can take terrible directions. And I think that happened with Penn State. And, I think it all kicked off with the comment he made during the Starocci match, which I think was true. Right. And then him and Bo Nickel went back and forth. And then he ended up wrestling a Penn State guy in like every single match.
Right.
And, him and Mitchell's match was very chippy. So I think it was kind of like kind of a culmination of that. And I think when you're as a competitor, you can't necessarily take a crowd like that, especially when it's a non-home crowd. That was a home crowd for the other guys. I just don't think you should almost take that into consideration. I think probably that was only how a small portion of wrestling fans felt about him. Unfortunately, they were the most vocal and they were the majority in that arena, but that's it.
Yeah, I think it just, the feelings he left with were just not that, right? Like, he didn't leave with
Correct.
He didn't leave with their perspective at all. He even said he felt like, wrestling had turned its back on him. And I think you're absolutely right. That wasn't the case, but certainly it's such a foreign experience for Jordan. Really, when you consider the back-to-back of Final X23 and the Olympic trials, where Final X23, it kind of flipped on him, right? Because people just did not like the way it was that those matches transpired.
But that was a Chance home crowd.
In a way, but it was in New Jersey, right? Like, I felt like in match one, it wasn't necessarily pro Chance, anti Jordan. I feel like it flipped in real time, like, Rocky IV style, because I think they just did not like the way it was going with the first call, with the singlet pull, switching the result, and just, there's just a lot of politicking from Jordan's corner and berating of the refs.
Yeah,
It felt like that turned a lot of people off, and I think Jordan got the brunt end of that negativity, and he experiences this great defeat, a shocking defeat to Chance. And then he also we're not even talking about the fact that Jordan lost to Jason Nolf and didn't even make it to the trials finals, and the disappointment that carries. And so you have the disappointment that you didn't wrestle well. Everyone knows that was not your best performance. And that I said it in the moment. I said it for years leading up to it. 74 is not the weight for Jordan anymore. And that showed it. And I think this weekend showed it too. Just a completely different guy.
He confirmed it. He said in his interview, I will never wrestle at that weight again.
Thank goodness. And
well, did he say he was going to continue for any length of time past this year? Is this like a final way out? One more world title, or what did he say?
In his interview, he did not close the door. He's like, if I medal and I'm sitting out to Final X again, he's like, who knows? I may continue. Like, he did not say like this is it. So seems like he's maybe rejuvenated, and that Final X bye. I can't tell you what a drug that is for these guys. It is hard to pass.
Well, it didn't matter to David Taylor.
What's that?
It didn't matter to David Taylor as the heat was sitting out and didn't bug David at all.
And nor did it matter. Yeah, exactly right. So I felt, and we'll get to David for sure, because that maybe was the biggest story. I don't know which was bigger. We got to start with one. But Jordan just looks like a different guy. So you factor in the fact that he lost and he's getting booed and this jerk is heckling him.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, okay, this was not a raucous sports crowd by most sports crowd measurements, but just for the experience that Jordan is used to, it's absolutely a unique experience. And I definitely understood the anger behind it for him.
Do you think that crowd maybe affected him against Nolf at all?
I actually don't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Jordan is just, I just think Nolf was better that time. I don't think Jordan was going to be able to beat him. I don't think he was going to be able to generate the offense necessary to beat Jason Nolf at 74 kilograms. I really do.
Yes.
And my evidence for that is I've seen Jordan in so many adversarial situations, not necessarily adverse crowd, but just like back against the wall. I feel like it could actually help him in certain circumstances, right? So I think he was just not as good that day.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But I will say, I said it after, it's kind of what you want from a home crowd.
Yeah, for sure. But there is something different about it's an individual sport, and there is something about the contributions that Jordan has made to the sport are like should give you a little bit of grace. But it's not going to work. It's when you're going. Mitchell is the face of Penn State wrestling moving forward once Starocci graduates, right? Like he is the guy. He is the flag carrying Penn State guy. And when you're face mushing him, even though Mitchell face mushed first, that's gonna get a reaction.
Are we gonna rehash that?
No, but I'm just saying that it was the Mitchell match really turned them. That's when they said, no, forget this guy. He's shoving our guy, and let's pretend that our guy didn't shove him. And they were looking to get on Jordan's case, and then it's against Nolf.
But I don't know. I feel like it was already with the Starocci comment about going after the knee and him and Bo Nickel. It was already like there was already some tension there.
Yeah.
Going into it.
Yeah, man, and he didn't say go after the knee. He said attack.
What did he say? I think he said, okay, go after the attack the leg. Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree with him.
Yeah.
We all would. And I actually disagree. I like Bo Nickel, but I disagree. If Bo says he would avoid that body part, I find that really hard to believe that he actually would avoid someone's body part because they have an injury.
Yeah, if he punches the one side of one guy's face, he needs to go. Bo, you can't hit it again if the eye closes. Yes.
Like I like Bo Nickel a lot, but and he may say that, but I just can't foresee that happening if it's actually in the moment in a match.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, obviously it's exciting to see Jordan back on the team. It feels, you wondered if this was going to happen, and we had talked about like what's Jordan's mindset been like, but it felt like he's been training just angry, but really it sounded like for a while he was just in a way going through the motions, but just trying to keep himself ready and sort of almost keeping himself ready in case the inspiration struck. And then it did, and it all coalesced to something pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
So now, what do we have for expectations for him for Worlds? Gold? Is that the expectation?
Yeah. I mean, medal is an expectation. I think anytime Jordan Burroughs enters a tournament, the expectation is going to be gold, right? We will sit here the Monday after Worlds sad and disappointed if he doesn't. Now, is he good? We don't know, but for sure.
I was actually thinking, guys. We have a legitimate gold medal shot at every weight class. I don't know if you guys feel that way.
I mean, I do. I mean, 3 of them have literally done it, and James felt like. Is that as good as we've seen James? He ran a
he got that Birmingham hip. That Birmingham hip, that's a life changer. Me and James, we both got metal in our body, and it made us better. I mean, I move so much better than I did. It's been what I got in 2020, I think. I wish I would have done it younger. And that was one of the things I said to James is because he asked me about it. I said, dude, it's been awesome. Like, I wish I would have done it earlier. I had so much pain from it. And it caused me so many issues for so many years. I wish I would have done it earlier. Yeah. And so he actually did it way earlier. And maybe he would repeat what I'm saying. I'm not sure, but it appears he looks great.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the explosion, the movement, he looks so powerful. Like, I honestly thought like, Pinheiro versus James would be like, I never thought Pinheiro would win, but I thought it'd be interesting. It's like different league, and then match 1 against Alec he just kind of big dogged him to his back, and then the lace. It was really impressive. And he had someone else previously too. And of course he beats Alec the second time. I thought he looked really good. I was going, this is a really deep weight class too. Like, had to beat a lot of
Worlds or at the trials, you're saying?
At trials. Deep in terms of there was a lot of.
You know what, Jordan Oliver? Is that who you're thinking of?
Yeah, Jo beats Jo again. Pretty convincingly.
By the way, I think Jo not done. I think he's
definitely not done.
At Bill Farrell.
I talked to him afterwards. He's like, no, and he's too small. He's going to go back down to 65. He said he was weighing like 68, 69 kilos. So he's got a little smaller. So he'll be back. But anyways, we should move on to Dave.
Do you want to see? So one thing to maybe consider is Jordan, every year he's won 79 kilos, has beaten Nakoti. And last year when Jordan wasn't there, Nakoti lost to Usmanov. I have Usmanov on screen beating Nakoti here if you want to see any of the sequences.
Well, maybe we'll come back to it.
Just on topic of, do we expect a gold medal out of him? There's a newcomer here.
For sure.
Plus, get to David Taylor.
Yeah.
Story maybe number
Let's
1
get to David Taylor.
out of this. Ben, how do you feel about him coming back out after taking the coaching position to compete this weekend?
It was interesting. I heard the rumors. I didn't believe the rumors. I didn't think he'd come out. I figured when he took that coaching job, it was like, hey, I'm done. I don't know. I don't know. Actually, I didn't listen to the interview, so I don't know if he discussed it, like what his desire was, or if he's going to compete even more. I know he said the one time he said, I'm not even sure if I'll go to Worlds. I'm going to talk to the administration and my team and blah, blah, blah. Because it is hard, doing 2 things, being in charge of a program and being in charge of your own wrestling career. I thought he looked really good against both Trent and Zahid. Obviously better in the second match than the first one. And I think he's probably a gold medal threat. But you have Gazimpor, who's really good from Iran. Really, really tough guy. And I'm sure Russia is going to send someone good, whether it's Sadulayev or someone else.
Yeah, the question is, are they going to let Sadulayev bypass the process, basically, where you had the Nationals winner not go? But you would have to assume that that's going to be an option, right? I think David talked about it in his interview in terms of the process of, hey, why did he compete? He's like, he was done. And then I think he just started to feel really good training, doing every workout with the guys, trying to basically model it, and went through the process and asked the team or kind of gauged the team, or I forget how he exactly positioned it. And then went to his administration and it had a lot of excitement and buy-in. And the cool thing he said was basically he was going to see, and if there's ever a day where he didn't want to do it or didn't want to go through or take a shortcut and not do the full workout and everything, he wasn't going to go at all. And it just didn't happen. Like, he wanted to do it every single day. And the most interesting comment out of the whole interview was him sort of raising the question if he is actually going to go to Worlds. Because he said, I got to talk with the team, talk with the administration. And, everyone's like, is he really not going to go? This is not any inside information at all, really. But I think there's no chance he doesn't go. I think absolutely.
That's kind of how I feel.
I think David
also.
that's diplomatic, David. That's, let me, talk with the bosses and double check with the team and everything like that. But at the end of the day, David wants to wrestle at Worlds, is my opinion. And if Sajalayev's there, it's even more incentive, in my opinion, for David.
Yes,
I think
definitely more incentive.
He's
100%.
wanted that match for a long time. And so if you're wondering, will he, won't he? This is me saying I firmly expect David.
This is me saying, don't listen to anyone else. Christian Piles told you right here, it's going to freaking happen.
Ben, do you agree? You agree?
Yeah. Listen, if I was gambling and this were anywhere close to a coin flip bet, I'd put a lot of money on David going to Worlds.
Cool. Yeah, me too. Yeah. So why don't we talk about the fact that, so Burroughs had 5 matches. Taylor had 6 to make this team. To see these guys, 36 for Jordan and 33, I think. He might be 34 now.
I think 33 going on. I don't think he's 34 yet. I think it's close.
So to see them run, I mean, I'll call it a gauntlet. I mean, it was very challenging matches. I mean, Trent Hidley, that is a really tough guy. What stood out to you about how David looked up at 92?
Yeah. So, Burroughs had first one wasn't hard. Haynes was a tough match. Deeringer was a tough match. And then obviously Marsteller twice. So he had 4 tough matches, looked good the whole time. And then, David, I would really, Mike Mock wasn't really able to be super competitive with him. And his first ones were relatively quick falls. Trent did give him a good, strong battle. I think he took maybe a 6-0 lead. And then, Trent came back and got a couple of takedowns. Actually, I want to say it was the first go behind I've ever actually seen David give up. And I have posed the idea of someone jumping over someone in that manner to some of my athletes. I've never really executed on it, but Trent looked really good, I thought, against David. But no, it's they both look great, and they both were very dominant in the match they were supposed to be. And I think both of them look almost as good as ever.
Crazy how good Trent looked, I thought, because it looked to me when David got up 6-0, I thought this is just going to be like the Mike Mock match. He's just going to run through 10-0, no problem. Like, he was just – the go behind for David looked so easy. Just snap down, go behind, and then the gut wrench just is easy. Then he immediately gets on the leg, a finish. You're like, all right, he's going to 10-0 this guy immediately. And then Trent, hard right underhook, gets it by. And then maybe David could say the caveat is like, that wasn't a go behind. That was a go over. So maybe he can preserve the record.
The other move, can I just total distraction right now?
Yeah.
That Jack's Forrest hit. And, well, you know what? If we just freaking got rid of grounding, because grounding is freaking stupid, we would not have these situations, because we wouldn't be there, because wrestling wouldn't end up there. But the one that Jack's Forrest hit, I call it a weeble wobble. And usually people try it off single leg, and it's garbage off a single leg. It works on like the really bad kids who don't have good balance. Tyler, you might know who I'm talking about. But he did it on the edge where he was kind of like a headlock and like kind of jagged, like pulled him up and then stepped around and fell to the, he falls opposite of his underhook side and dumps him to his back.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember that sequence or no?
I know the move you're talking about. I don't remember the sequence. Who was that against?
The Weeble Wobble. That was DeSanto.
Okay, he Weeble Wobbled DeSanto. Maybe I don't remember.
He Weeble Wobbled him. But it was actually like, honestly, when I saw it, like I said, usually on a single leg, total garbage move, right? But in this scenario where someone is grounded, trying not to go out of bounds, because if they move backwards too hard, then they're going to get a caution in one. So they have to stay on their knees, but they can't go backwards really aggressively. It's kind of a weird circumstance. And so he took advantage of that. It was, if you guys want to pull it up, I believe, there's two pointers in the second period. There was one with 2:22 and one with 36 seconds left. So it was one of those.
You mentioned
I got it on screen.
Oh, he's got it. All right, let's look at it. Let's watch.
You got the Weeble Wobble?
Yeah,
Let me see the Weeble Wobble.
Right. Wobble, baby. Wobble, baby. All right.
Was it this?
Yes, this one coming up here. Yep. It's going to be this one here, where he gets him on the edge. Yep. See, and he's over under.
Oh,
he
he
steps
Weeble.
around. Weeble Wobbled him.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. That's the Weeble Wobble.
Dang, that was wild. Good Weeble, Jax.
Weeble Wobble.
So, hey, I want to I actually put in the doc, let CP go off on grounding one more time. So let's just.
Can I go off on it too?
You go first, then I'll go second. I don't give a rip.
It's just the stupidest thing ever. If they're neutral and they go out of bounds, make it a point. It's so obvious, and if you're on your knees, maybe it has to be 2 points, 2 knees or a knee and a foot, whatever. You can make a very specific understanding of what is out of bounds on your knees. A knee and a hand, whatever. Pick whatever you want, but make us very specific. This is out of bounds. But you are encouraging, so like what they try to say in freestyles, they're encouraging wrestling to happen or good wrestling. This encourages so much bad wrestling, so many things that would not naturally happen if you did not have this stupid rule. It's infuriating. And the fact that UWW, they're doing like a lot of things right. Like they're getting closer to like having a really great product, but this makes such a bad product.
It really does. And it's what fired me up, and I was rewatching stuff. Obviously, I got fired up yesterday or this weekend just about it, just how stupid the whole thing is.
It's so stupid.
And it just how logically just does not map to wrestling logic at all. But more than anything,
Makes no sense.
then you see the refs had this own little gimmick they run around it, where if you do it a couple times, then they'll hit you for attention. But to me, that's BS, because is it okay or not? If it's a fine tactic to be used, they're almost snitching on themselves. Not that it's the ref's fault. They're putting
you're right.
They're putting in the worst. They're put in the worst position by having to figure this out, because they know. I think they know it's garbage and why these guys are dropping to their knees.
Yes.
But if the fact that you hit them for attention after they do it twice, and they had, I forget who they did that with. Maybe it was Chance, but it was another.
No, that is like a very frequent occurrence. That is not rare.
So now now you get a warning if you do it so many times. Well, where are we warning? This is perfectly fine behavior. It's in the rules that if you ground yourself, it's fine. So you just get rid of it, and then you don't have to play this weird game.
Never have to play it.
You can drop down twice.
Because no one's ever going to go to their knees, Christian. If you go out of bounds and you're on your knees, and that's a point, no one's ever going to go to their knees. It just won't freaking happen. It'll be like maybe off of a shot or something. Like it'll be like it'll be probably 3% of the time it happens right now.
Yes. And there's no, and here's the thing about this rule. There is no positive.
No positive.
It doesn't help anything.
Nothing.
So
I wish we could put Nenad Lalovic on the freaking stand and say, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? Just give me a 3-minute answer.
I don't think you would get one. I seriously doubt he would defend it. And this is basically the rules are changed in the quads. So after Worlds, they're going to look at everything. And I believe this will be looked at. I'm going to do what I can. Well, I don't have a lot of power and influence, but I'm going to do what I can to make sure it's at least discussed. And that may be nothing, but I think there's something that you can't look at this. And it's interesting, Ben, would you describe it as just an evolution of people getting, because this rule is not necessarily new as far as I understand it, but it feels like
what do you mean, the grounding?
Yeah, but it feels like over the last couple of years, it's been getting worse and worse as people have realized it's a thing.
I think I don't know about yourself, but I will speak for you because we podcasted together for a long time.
Yes, we did.
I think we always hated grounding.
Oh, always.
But to your point, people are getting better and better at it. And if something is not going to be penalized, and if something can be beneficial to you, you're going to learn how to use that to your benefit. So because of the rule set, going to your knees on the edge can be beneficial to you. It's not a natural thing, right? So before the grounded thing was a rule, no one knew how to do it, right? And honestly, if you watch like just general edge wrestling, when it first became a thing, people weren't nearly as good at it as they would be, 5 years later. So when the grounding became more of a thing, people all of a sudden got really good at doing this because it saves you a bunch of points.
A ton. I mean, really.
And the other thing it thinks about, it wastes a lot of time, Christian, because when you go to your knees there, and there's no obvious path behind you, the offensive person or the top person is thinking about how do I get points here, and they're generally trying to jam or maybe do things, and they're generally not successful, but they generally waste 15, 20 seconds. Whereas if we were on the feet, it would be hard for them to either not get pushed out and or have to do some kind of wizard kick, slide by, something else to alleviate the pressure to maybe get their own points. say as we saw in the, Green Pantaleo, right, where that situation happened because of pressure on the edge.
Yeah.
And we would get to see more of that, and it would happen faster because there's just not as many things that can happen when you're on your knees, not like the Weeble Wobble.
Yeah.
The counter or the pro for grounding, which I do not feel this way, but if I'm playing devil's advocate, is it would just become a push out contest that guys would snap guys into front headlock in the center and just try to push them all the way out.
No, there's no way that would happen. You're crazy.
They'll come up to their feet.
I said I don't feel. I'm saying that's what people who advocate for.
No one advocates for this rule. No one defends it.
And they say the way that parterre is defined in the rule book is why this is a rule. That is true.
I've actually never seen anyone defend this rule.
Yeah, I've also never seen anyone defend this rule, and so you would have to. But to your point, JD, because sometimes, like, say, if someone tries a turn and they get into some type of scramble, you would have to define that you are no longer in parterre anymore, right? You are now neutral position, right. Which I think could be, the referee saying neutral, we're neutral, like that would be simple enough to let everyone know, hey, we are in the neutral position. You no longer can go out of bounds without penalty.
Yeah. Yeah. So bad rule.
Terrible rule.
We should circle back to David though. I don't know how we got there, but it's okay. Him in the finals, the 2 out of 3 against Zahid. After the Trent tight match, were you thinking that would be more competitive against Zahid, or?
Well, the first one was.
Yeah, it was 3-3.
The first one was really competitive, and Zahid got a takedown to go up to the lead in I want to say midway through the second period, and to that point, David had really not been close to a score, and then David answers with his own score, like 15 seconds or something, like really, really, really quickly. Yeah, almost immediately. And then completely shut Zahid down for the rest of the match. And then, I don't know what it is. If he's not trying as hard, I don't know. I'd have a hard time believing he gets that tired that fast. But Zahid in the second match has never been competitive with David, right? We think about 2022 was it, where in the second match he just got crushed also?
Yeah, I think, body language is whatever you think it is, but after he didn't get
matters.
I think it matters. Well, you can, in terms of us deducing what we're seeing, like, is this or is this not true?
Sure. Okay. Sure.
What I saw when he wanted the first takedown challenge in match 2, and Zeke wouldn't. And I think Zeke was probably wise to not challenge. I think he was discouraged, disappointed that he didn't get the challenge. And then after he gave up, he shoots this high crotch, and David teleports to the other leg and finishes. And that
was awesome. Little down block go behind.
That was crazy. And so I think at that point, it kind of packed it in.
Those are different matches, I think.
No. Oh, wait, the down block go behind?
Yeah, that teleportation was match 2.
That's what we're talking about.
That was match 2, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying in match 1. Never mind, forget it.
In match 2, the first takedown, Zahid wanted it challenged, and Zeke wouldn't challenge it. And then afterwards, it really seemed to spiral after that. But it could be that it was going to spiral no matter what, because David, Jordan said it. We were interviewing Jordan while that match was going on, and he turned and looked, and he says, if you don't beat David in the first match, you got no shot. Just because he really is a momentum wrestler, and it really felt like that. And
well, yeah, the other thing is, you got to beat him twice, 2 in a row, which is like
scary.
It's a beast.
How about another thing? I thought his activity rate, David's activity, was really high. Looked really good for the weight class, and it was kind of a storyline that came into focus a little more at Olympic trials. Like, oh wait, David Taylor actually has a real weight cut at 86, but I don't know if we gave it as much stock as we should have. And now looking at this performance, it says to me, man, 92 is the best weight for David Taylor now, which who would have thought we would have said that, but it feels like he's kind of outgrown 86 as his most productive weight class.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I thought going into match 2 with Zahid, it was just kind of like David wasn't going to lose because he was just a better wrestler. Like, it was like Zahid scored, and he was like, okay, I'm going to score now. And he actually tried on that go behind, and when he did, he got it. And there were other times where he just conceded a stalemate there, where he didn't even try to hit a go behind. But it was like when he actually push comes to shove and he had to try, he was like, I'm going to take you down.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a better wrestler than you. And that's when I was like, okay, David's going to win this.
Yeah.
Because I actually thought there were times earlier in the tournament, like against Trent and stuff, where I didn't think it looked like to me David maybe what I don't know if hustling is the right word, but it kind of looked like, in practice where you don't get a takedown and you're like, whatever, you give it one attempt. And there was a time when Trent kicked out and David didn't follow him up. He just kind of let him kick and stayed. And I was kind of like, oh yeah, well, what's David doing out here? It didn't look like he was having a whole lot of fun. Wasn't maybe hustling like we have seen him hustle at times in the past. It was kind of like, I'm better than you. But then, like once he got rolling against Zahid, that looked like really good.
Yeah,
David.
I think he was tired in the Trent match. Honestly, that's what it looked like to me. I mean, that was
so fast
because that was his 5th match of the day.
Yeah, that's
I think that's part of it. Just like
fourth.
Oh yeah, sorry, 4th match of the day.
Yeah, okay.
Just the process of like weighing in, warm up, cool down, weighing that many times. Like I think that took a toll a little bit. So I think he was just trying to conserve and wrestle intelligently and get his hand raised in that one. And
Plus, wrestling with an extra couple lbs, like it's kind of a thing. No, I'm saying though you practice at that weight all the time, even when you're wrestling 86 kilos. But there is a difference in competing up a weight class with those extra pounds when you're not used to it.
yeah.
You can get you a little tired.
Let's get into some other topics. Well, actually, before that, the field at 92 has potential to be just treacherous. You have Gazimpur, 2-time world champion for Iran, that is expected to be there, and then Sajalayev looms. Going to be a huge task for David to win a world title, but man, could also be like not a career defining moment for sure, but whatever's like a notch below career defining. Like this is on the Mount Rushmore of David Taylor moments if he wins.
Well, if you beat Sajalayev, I think career defining is
maybe it is.
There. I mean, he almost never lost.
Yeah, he has one loss, 2 losses ever.
How do you see that match playing out, Ben?
Oh man, it's can David? He's either gonna wear him out or be able to get through the baseline defense, because usually people can't get through the baseline head hands of Sajalayev, and he's just too big and strong. And I don't know. I would say I would like to see David win, but I think it's kind of a coin flip, and I'm here for it. I would love to see the match happen.
Here's another thought: does David making the team make Russia feel like, okay, we gotta send Sajalayev? We know we're not beating this dude if we don't send our very, very best.
Probably, yeah.
Or does it make them go, we can't have Sajalayev lose?
No, that's not how they'll think. I don't think that's how they're not going to try to protect Sajalayev. They want to help Russia. They put country first, not the individual. So they want their team to win. So I think they're going to put the guy that gives them the best chance.
They could have sent more guys to the Olympics and they packed up their ball and went home.
Well, they're not going to send Shamil Mamedov, one guy. Like they had one guy that was cleared to wrestle.
No. They had other guys that were cleared to wrestle at other weights too. They just went their number ones. He was the only one that didn't deny it right away, that accepted it initially. And then he said, "Oh wait, never mind."
I think he was the only one at the end that was like on the list. Or there's so many evolutions in it, but it made it so like Mamedov and like maybe one other guy. Either way, I think that's totally separate, honestly.
I have a question for Ben. There was already a faction of Iranian fans who were ready to like kick Yazdani out and be like, let's send Gazimpur to try to beat this guy. Now that he has to beat him at 92, if that's who they send, what do you think a match against Gazimpur looks like?
Yeah. Gazimpur's a beast. So I think I kind of feel similarly to the what I said earlier is, can David move him around and get to his legs? Yeah. And when David can get to someone's legs, he's almost, I don't think guaranteed to finish, but he is like a really, really high rate finisher. And and or is Gassenport going to be able to slow him down and employ underhook, etc. Something like that. So yeah, another match I would love to see. Gassenport has been. Tell me his stats because I think it's a couple-time world champ. Correct.
2-time.
Beat Jaden Cox both.
2-time.
Yep.
Yes.
So he's really good. So that'll be a tough one. But yeah, hope we see it. I wish they could all three wrestle each other. I wonder if that's possible.
It's a round robin finals.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Let's do round robin.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Snyder would have maybe had to do it if Such Live would have been there this year at the Olympics.
True.
It all just kind of depends on bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Other.
Let's get to 61 because I think one of the top stories, if it wasn't Burroughs or Taylor, is maybe not the winner. It's Marcus Blaze at 61. I know
Yes, I agree.
Vito was the winner, but this was I don't know if breakout is the right word for Marcus Blaze. I feel like the breakout for the casual fan of Marcus Blaze. This guy, he's...
I don't know if breakout is the right word either because he's already had some huge wins, but definitely like establishment. I don't know if that would be a better word for it.
You love the establishment, Ben.
Because
No.
You would say that word. I think you're right.
he took third at Olympic trials, but
It was
all
just-
the
it
best
was all-
guys forfeited.
And it was all backside stuff. So like it was not like he made a deep run to the semis and then it was like he lost to
How about that backside at 61? That was sick. So many good matches.
Yeah. Well, there's also a lot of forfeits too, right?
Well,
That's how I was joking.
Okay, I'm like-
because they were all forfeits.
Yeah, you confuse the
No,
crap
it was
out-
like every match was a forfeit. I think it was crazy.
Yeah, not good. Jack's Forrest was sad about that. He's gotten like
Yes.
four forfeits at the Olympic and World Team
Yes.
Trials.
Them boys
So
don't
the
wanna
round
make
of four in
weight.
the Conti semis was 4 of 4 forfeits.
Tight.
Dayton Fix automatically got third national team. So there was nothing to wrestle back for except bragging rights and pride. No stipend, no health insurance,
Nothing.
no national team.
So Blaze's path, he goes through, I forget who he had round one, maybe like Tortoris or something.
That's gross. And it was a really good match. I kind of feel a little bit like Seth kind of blew it because he was, I want to say he was maybe up by 3, and then Blaze gets in on like, oh, I'm sorry, he wrestled Berwick before Gross.
Berwick.
My bad.
no worries.
But so against Gross, though, he got in on that single leg and did like the crossover cartwheel to the one side. And then he, Gross was still hanging on to the leg. And I want to say he got a second turn.
Yeah,
Is that
was-
correct?
that turn ultimately lost him the match. Instead of just bellying down and relaxing,
Yes, trying to do parterre.
kept trying to wrestle into the position, and Blaze was able to. I think Blaze's strength probably surprised him a little bit because it took a lot of power for him to. Because he had kind of a trap arm
Yeah.
type of situation. And yeah, I thought. I mean, in a way, I felt like Gross was a bad matchup for Marcus, and it sort of played out that way. Just some of the tricky positions were
Yes.
Seth probably you need to wrestle him one time, but then Blaze just figured it out in match and was able to, out gross. Really, that kind of ankle to ankle lace thing is really weird,
Yeah.
and to be heady enough to get the gut wrench afterwards, those two were really close, and I thought Seth looked pretty good in this match, but I mean Blaze is really unflappable.
Yes.
Unflappable.
Very
Can't flap
unflappable. Great. Yeah, you cannot flap him. That's a great description. Yeah. No, I agree with that totally. And he can do a lot. I mean, baseline defense is probably his best asset, but he can do a lot of different things.
He really can. I thought his most impressive match was against Nishan Garrett. I thought.
Oh yeah.
Not
shut him
trying to be
down totally.
disrespectful, but I thought he just totally shut down, neutralized out everything to Nashon. And the fact that the physicality and the power of Nishan and the speed really wasn't a factor. Really, you could have seen Marcus getting blown off his feet at least once, and there really no opportunity. It was just positional, and the way he olayed him in the zone so many times, he would like kind of float to the zone, and then he would attack. This re-attack is just ridiculous.
Really good.
I mean, so good. And then, so yeah, I thought this was like a
They didn't
5.
see the re-attack.
Oh, okay, I did. So here it is. One of the scores. I think it was a 5-0 final. Am I remembering
I
correctly?
believe 5-0.
Yeah, this one, my gosh.
Boom.
That's
He's so
just,
quick.
that's just how you drill it, except you're doing it against an absolute monster in Sean Garrett. And so this was a great win. And then the Dayton one was just all tactics. All tactics. Like,
Yes.
not a match you would show someone and be like, watch this thriller. Because it was 3 shot clock points and a step out off of a controversial grounding situation. But
I actually watched that. I didn't feel like it was that controversial. I thought he was clearly up off a knee, like 1 inch from the edge, and then he goes down to a knee as he goes out of bounds. He was down on his knee, but then he pops back up and then he goes back down. I thought it was just. I didn't think it was very.
Recall, you are grounded if 1 knee is down. 1.
Yeah, and I don't think that knee goes down until he's out of bounds. Was my opinion.
Well, I'm telling. He had his other knee was down the entire time. There is question if both knees were down. But there was one knee.
Are you sure? Go to that. Let me find that match.
You're talking about the very end?
Very end of Blaze here.
Got it.
Yeah.
Tyler's got it.
You got to already put it up for me because I'm pretty sure he pops up. Okay, let's watch this.
He's up, down,
Boom. Okay,
up.
he's up, and then he's up, and then he goes down right as he goes out of bounds.
The other angle.
Like you're not allowed
Two, if anything.
Pull the social clip.
But you're not allowed to go down in the zone. Remember, that's like they were specifying that this year. You're not allowed to drop to your knees in the zone, and if you do that, then that's a penalty. And he's very clearly not in his knees while he's in the zone.
I think they gave a step out there.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Well, can you get a step out if you just drop here? This is a better angle. It's gonna be.
That's
tough.
what I'm saying. He's not in the zone. Dayton is not grounded. So hold on. Can we pause it for a second? Pause it right. A little more. Keep going. Right here. Look. See, he was in the zone.
Okay.
That's the zone. Go back. If you go back half a second, you can see
I can't rewind.
He's clearly not grounded. He tries to ground himself in the zone. And that's what you're not allowed to do.
So, but you then want caution in one. You don't want just one.
Yeah.
To me, it looked like
either way,
two
it's the same
continuation.
result.
If anything.
Yeah, and I guess regardless, I think the right guy won the match, no doubt about it. But the fact that it has to be discussed is like sort of annoying. But either way,
I agree.
Either way, seeing Marcus Blaze do that is impressive. How about Gilman pulling him in?
Yeah. Ben.
Him with the Trump shake. Get over here.
Ben, what does
Hopefully he was saying you better come to Oklahoma State.
I'm sure it was something very complimentary, for sure.
What does Marcus Blaze do that makes him so good? Because he really doesn't do anything particularly fancy or new or different, but what makes him so good at such a young age?
Well, I think at a high level, a lot of it's just about timing and motion, and that's what he does so well. And he is really tricky when you get on his legs. Like him and Dayton had that one scramble, and Dayton actually came through, and you looked like he was in a good spot, and then Marcus was able to kind of twist and get Dayton off balance again. He does attack both sides of the body really well. His baseline defense, I think I said, is his best asset. He may not look strong, but I almost can guarantee he's pretty freaking strong for his size. So I mean, at this point, I don't think he has a lot of weaknesses, and I think that statement's kind of easy to back up factually when he's losing 2-1 and 3-1 to the guy who's the world champion.
The big question is this: why do no schools want Marcus Blaze on their team?
Well, yeah. So he is a senior, correct? Not a junior.
He's a senior.
Why is he not committed?
He's the only one.
A lot of people are committing as juniors.
I know.
Well, I think I've heard, I haven't talked to him specifically, but I've heard going into the whole thing, he was like, I'm not going to rush this. And I think he knows wherever he go, he's going to have some money for him, right? He's not like a 60 guy on the big board where a coach might say, hey, we need a commitment from you. You know, we need an answer from you because if we don't get you, we're going to go give our money to some other guy. We want you, but we got to know. Whoever, he gets the red carpet treatment no matter where he goes, whether, know, it's Penn State, Ohio State, Iowa, Oklahoma.
Where do you guys think he's going to go? What chances do you put that he goes with his brother to Purdue?
Well, I don't want to start trouble, but I don't feel very
small.
I think
small.
I would say small. I think there's a big homebody element. I think he wants to be close to home, which would make Ohio State.
He trains there.
Obviously a contender.
I think Steve
Now,
was
how about this? Think about this though.
Purdue's not, or I'm sorry, Perrysburg is not that close to Columbus.
I think it's an hour. Someone said.
Probably oh, and that's it. I thought it was closer to Michigan.
I don't
It
know.
is.
I don't know. Maybe not an hour.
It's basically a suburb of Ann Arbor.
Oh, it's a Ann Arbor suburb. I'm being told. That's interesting. Yeah,
It's actually a direct quote from you, from a previous. Yeah,
that's funny. Good line by me. I would say, I don't know. I mean, I think part of not making
Hour
a
and
decision.
2 minutes from Ann Arbor.
That ain't bad. How far from Columbus? Let's get to the bottom of this. We're gonna figure out where this kid's
3
going.
hours.
3?
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh boy,
That's double.
you might have to pull over for a snack halfway. You need a bathroom break. So I don't know. I
we
mean,
can't forget about what his grandparents were apparently saying from
What?
That one random guy that came
some
up.
fan came up to me and was like, "Yeah, they told me he's going to Penn State. He's already decided." I'm like, "All right, well, all right, we'll look out for that."
Like he's going to commit next week.
next week. I'm like, well, we'll put the watch out, and that didn't happen. I think it's all Marcus is just he does things his way, his pace. I think it's very just true to his personality. Like
Is he
like he
number one
doesn't
on the
know
big
yet.
board right now?
he might not know. What'd you say?
Is he number one on the big board? For that age?
Yes, he is. So all other 99 have committed, but him. But I think another thing to consider in this angle, Tyler mentioned he trains at the Ohio RTC. Well, what happens if you commit to not Ohio State and you want to train at the Ohio RTC?
Yeah.
Probably like, you're probably not gonna let you wrestle with Nick
Yeah,
Bouzakis and Ben
maybe
DeVino
not.
and Jesse Mendez anymore. So that could be a factor in it. I just think the dude loves wrestling, and
Yeah.
he knows he's gonna have plenty of options. This used to be around when wrestlers were committing, right? I remember when I
Correct.
did.
Now it's usually earlier.
Yeah, so he's not. Caleb was like, "Can they just make him pick a school? When does he decide?" Like Caleb wants to know. I was like, "No, man. He could just." I just feel like my dream is that Marcus just shows up on a roster one day and just there's no fanfare. That'd be funny. We should.
How much? Listen, okay. Let me give you. If I was offering these other dudes $500,000, how much you pay Marcus Blaze? I gotta say, at least $2 million.
For 4 years.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, that's basically $500,000 a year, so it's like the same.
Yeah, probably at least $2 million.
I would.
Maybe more.
Yeah. I mean, you should definitely pay a lot of money for him if you can.
But Carter Starocci's making $3 million
He's making 3.
for 1 year, maybe more.
He's making more than Bronny James. So yeah, Blaze was definitely a story. And then my question, I am not leaving with strong conclusions about Vito headed into this, and not in particular to his wrestling ability, obviously, but is he healthy? Is he back to the Vito of 23?
What made you think that?
I don't know. He took injury time. He's like grabbing fingers, and I don't know. He just didn't. And the fact now, on the one hand, you give credit because you beat Marcus Blaze, and you just watched that savage run through 3 monsters and world team members.
Yeah.
So you get your hand raised twice, and that's good. But he had a hard time. I mean, you had a hard time generating offense, which is not something you would have expected from Vito really at any point in his career. And now you can compliment and be like, normally it's like Vito just goes crazy for 6 minutes, and then when the dust settles, it's like 13-9 or something. But here it was,
usually.
you think about it, the Zabaskazi match, his final X's against Nashawn Garrett, was kind of that way. But this was so positional, so tactical. I compliment it, but then I'm only seeing 2 matches and knowing the health stuff he was dealing with. I am curious about, how he would look throughout the course of a tournament.
Yeah. I think, Nashawn Garrett won a world medal and Blaze shut him down, and Dayton won a world medal and Blaze beat him. So I would say not really any reason to panic. It is impressive that he got shut down. And if you said he was hurt, I suppose I wouldn't be shocked. If I had to bet, I would say he's relatively healthy. That was just me giving my opinion
Yeah.
with no inside information.
Cool.
How good is that Ono guy that beat Blaze 7-0?
He's good. He's going to be the rep, I think.
Yeah.
Is he going to
I mean,
Senior
So
World?
good.
He he might be the pick to win it.
Because
That is a threat.
didn't he just barely lose to the 65 rep that was really good?
That won the Olympics, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. So yeah, this dude he's super good. Why don't we talk?
Another tough 61 to Ogawa,
Yeah.
I think. I don't know, but I don't know who their rep is going to be.
Let's talk. I want to get to a couple more World Team Trial stuff. Then we'll get to some questions, and we have to talk about this book before we get to questions.
Let's go.
All right, I want to talk about Levi Haines a little bit, and Ben may not.
boo.
Boo. We're booing Levi. Ben is, not me. And my question is, does this change how? Well, I have an opinion, but for you, Ben, do you think this will change how they use Levi this year? And does it change at all how you think he could compete at 174?
No. I mean, if I had looked at the 174 rankings, I would have said he is the biggest threat to Keegan. Obviously, after watching that, I would probably say that also. I think Keegan can make a few changes to beat him, and it was a little bit of a circular where Keegan beat Carr, Haynes beat Keegan, and then Carr beat Haynes just because of the way the bracket fell out because Deeringer forfeiting. So yeah, I think he looked good. I think he looked huge. It was crazy how I watched the first match against him and Burroughs, and the first second I flipped it on, I'm like, who is Burroughs wrestling? Like, it was almost like I didn't recognize who it was because he looked that much different. So yeah, I think he's really good. He was the NCAA champ for a reason last year, and he's probably the main threat to Keegan at 174.
He kind of grew a mullet too. That helped.
He just looked, I don't know. I feel like when some people put on weight, they just like look a little different, and I thought that was him for sure.
Yeah.
That boy thick. He's thicker than a Snicker.
Yeah, and he's really strong.
he's
Obviously, we
super
already knew he was strong, but he did the same thing against Keegan and Wick. He did it against Wick to win the match. Wick had him almost bellied out, and he came all the way up to his feet from it. And I think that's, if you haven't felt that against someone, you don't really expect people to be able to do that. When they do it, you're like, oh damn, I'm dealing with something a little different here.
I drew all kinds of crazy conclusions based on this tournament that there may be out of control. I left, and I'm like, Levi's winning 174. They're going to wrestle him, and he's going to beat Keegan. I felt like one guy is going up in weight and was purposeful about it, and I just felt like Keegan did not look as strong as I expected him to look at 174. Now,
Yeah.
folk style is a different thing, obviously. But, man, the power, I feel like the cut for Levi was zapping maybe a little bit of his power, and we weren't able to see
Sure. Yeah,
full
that's fair.
version of Levi. And he was probably at 165 last year, maybe a big 65 last year that was just sucking it up so he could win a national title, and he did. Now it feels like it's maybe unlocked a little bit more of Levi.
Yeah.
But we've seen.
Yeah,
we've
the
also
one
seen
thing about
variants
them,
for Keegan,
maybe,
though.
not wrestling. Yeah, Keegan can make adjustments, but as far as Levi Haines, Penn State didn't wrestle any of their guys who are going to start in the lineup this year at this tournament. The other one was Connor Mirasola, who, I'm pretty certain he's going to redshirt. But it is, if Kale has someone who he thinks he can win, he generally wrestles them. It's pretty rare. Maybe a Zane the one year where he might have been the favorite and he did not wrestle him that year. But it's pretty rare if they have someone who they think can win that they do not wrestle them.
I figured, too, this was kind of a rinse of your mouth from Olympic trials where he did not have his best performance, which I think was just coming weeks off of NCAAs probably. He was just, I don't know, injured, burnt
really
out.
bad there, right?
Yeah, whatever. But it was like, hey, that's not you. Before we get into the NCAA season, go show your real self. Because I think there's a reason no other college guys from Penn State came here and wrestled, like you said, Ben. So I think they were like, you're looking really good. Get that bad taste out of your mouth, and you have a legitimate shot at winning this thing. So go out there and do your best and show you're ready to compete up at your new weight.
He looks like he's the closest thing in terms of just looking like a horrible guy to wrestle, like Zane Rutherford, just like pawing and smacking and just like so physical and strong. I was really impressed by him, and I feel like he's gonna go, and it's got to be a shot across the bow for Keegan, moving forward, knowing that, hey, this guy's, you got to prepare that this guy's gonna be there.
Yeah. And obviously Keegan, against Carr, Keegan lost the first two and then came back and then won a couple and then lost and now he won again, so he's 3-3 versus Carr. So he has shown the ability to make adjustments. And, I won't tell you what I think the adjustments should be, but I think there's some that are he could definitely make that'll impact performance.
Well, I'll just ask. I know you don't want to give away the game plan, but just answer a yes or no question.
I haven't even talked to him either. I mean, I was super busy, so I'm gonna call him today.
This will be easy. Yes or no? Will the Weeble Wobble be involved?
I can't foresee that being a factor. No.
All right, Levi, just check that off the list. He's not going to defend Weeble. Now would be the perfect time to make the Weeble Wobble a big part.
I don't know. I feel like if you're good at wrestling, you don't really got to worry about the Weeble Wobble because you don't suck at wrestling.
All right, sounds like I'll probably get Weeble.
Not for the headlock. So DeSanto doesn't suck. It wasn't from a single leg. That was from a grounded position.
Yeah.
So just for clarity's sake.
So why do you think Levi was able to beat Keegan but not David here this weekend?
Well, I mean, David did it was takedown lace. I don't want to even get more into it because I think I'll give away my thoughts too much, and I don't want to give away my thoughts. You don't hear Kale coming out here talking about his.
Come on.
No.
I want to publicly apologize to Levi because I've been doubting his abilities at 174. I was like, I don't know if he'll be able to be strong enough. I want to show you guys this takedown he hit on Keegan. He is on his.
great.
Oh, boo. Stop. You stop right
Make sure
now.
you.
Well, this is why I already discussed this. He did this to Wick and
we got to
Keegan
show
where
the
he came
people
off his belly.
This is
And I think
crazy.
people, I think it was, honestly, and that's, one of the things is once you feel someone once, you're not caught off guard. And I think it was probably both Wick and Keegan were like, okay, I got him. There's no way he's coming up from this. And then boom, he just, sucks himself in and pulls it up. And you're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't feel like I needed to, give full power. And now they should know that.
Give full power. So yeah, great performance by Levi. I mean, it was cool to see Keegan and Carr all battling on the backside. They all had nice wins for themselves for sure. So that was definitely a fun dynamic. We'll be talking more about trials, I'm sure, in the later parts of the week as we head into the World Championships, which are in late October. Looking forward to those. But let's kick it to Ben. I got a copy right here of Extreme Balance. Paradoxical.
What do you think? Did you read it?
Paradoxical principles. No. That make you
What?
a champion.
What have you been doing with your life?
I was kind of busy this weekend, Benjamin. But I'm committing to reading it.
All right. I want to hear your opinion.
But Ben, what inspired you to write this book? Who is this book written for?
Yeah. So I've had these ideas bouncing around my head for somewhere around a decade. And, every once in a while I would kind of hit up a few authors and say, hey, any chance you want to write a book? Because I'm not a very good writer. I ended up talking about it. Joe Jacina had me on a podcast a few years back, and he said, hey, do you really believe in your idea? And you want to take action on making the book? And I said, yeah, absolutely, I do. And so him and me, and then he got us linked up with David Sachs, who's a sports psych PhD. And we started putting pen to the paper and hammering it out. And I think it turned out really, really well. I would say now it is written more towards the high level athlete, I think, right? But even if you're not a high level athlete yet, you may have aspirations of becoming a high level athlete at some point. So there's no reason you can't start thinking right before you get there. And so, a lower level athlete might be able to make a lot more gains from, physical things, getting better skills and getting stronger. Whereas a higher level athlete, lots of times I think the obstacle they need to clear is some type of mental obstacle. And so that's kind of what this is about the balance of multiple thoughts in your head. Because lots of times, there are thoughts which contradict each other, or maybe you're hypocritical. That was actually my initial name for the book, was like the hypocritical mind of an elite athlete. And so that can be really challenging. So clearing out those obstacles that are in your path to get yourself to think right, to become the best you can be.
And where can people buy this book?
Amazon.com. I don't know if you've ever heard of that website. It's kind of, it's a smaller website. So you get there, and my
Very
publisher,
establishment
entrepreneur.
of you.
I know. Damn it.
It's smart.
The publisher entrepreneur really, hey, if you guys really love me, you'll leave me a review on Amazon. They say that's a big deal. I didn't realize it, but they're making a big deal of it. So if you really, really appreciate my commentary on FRL over all these years, you can leave me a comment. And listen, if you think it sucks, say it sucks. But if you're one of those haters that just doesn't like me, then you're not allowed to say it sucks because you're biased, and we know that.
No, keep it to yourself if you don't like it. If you like it, then you go on Amazon. And if you don't read it and you still liked it, leave a positive review on Amazon regardless if you read it or not. Let's just flood the ballot box for Ben.
There we go. Flood that ballot box. I love it. Yes.
I got some Amazon reviews pulled up right here.
Why don't we read some of them?
All 5 stars.
Oh,
Wow. Already?
let's go.
Was recommended this book by a friend and totally helped my mindset while training for my first Ironman. Highly recommend. As I read Extreme Balance, I kept finding myself nodding my head in agreement. I saw myself in this book, and I'm sure others will too. You don't even need to be an athlete or even like sports to relate to the contents. The messages and takeaways are truly universal and infinitely applicable.
These sound like bots Ben created.
Yeah, Ben bots.
You're a bot
I
farmer.
did not create bots. I honestly put my own review in there this morning, in which I acknowledge I'm the author, so I'm biased. But Amazon hasn't put it up there yet. I don't know. They must have like a filtering process. This is crap.
They're approving all these Russia bots.
Verified reviews, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be under my wife's profile because I actually don't have an Amazon profile. But so I did put my own comments. I'm waiting for it to pop up at some point. I'm sure it's going to pop up because I did that 3 hours ago or something. Hey, also, Christian, while I'm giving shameless plugs, I sent you one of these. I don't know if you or your son Caleb use it. All In Journal, another product. I've had more time on my hands since I left FRL, so I just got to do something with it. All In Wrestling Journal, about journaling through your wrestling journey. And I think journaling something I've been doing since I was like 14 years old, and I think it's great for your mind. So if you guys want to check that out, allinwrestlersjournal.com.
I saw Parker Keckeisen was using that. He posted about it.
He loves journaling, so I sent him one.
Well, that was nice of you.
Yeah.
Hey, Parker Starocci, you want to see that or what?
Damn straight, I want to see it. Are we doing it? Are we doing? Hey, listen, are we doing Starocci versus Ferrari at the All-Star Classic? I know this is a flow product, so come on. Why not?
No. Why not? Because it's a horrible idea for AJ Ferrari. I'll say that.
That's fine. He's a grown man. He can make his own decision.
Well, he can make his own decision, but it wouldn't be a good one if he did it.
That's fine. I believe in freedom.
Christian hates the fans. Christian hates the fans.
No. You think
He doesn't give them he doesn't. You don't want to give them the match they want to see.
No, I have nothing to do with it. It's not my decision.
You're really going to sit here and pretend like you weren't saying I hate fans 30 minutes ago?
Yeah, I love Ferrari and hate the fans. That's been my common editorial stance for a while. No, I just don't think it's not going to happen. Unfortunate. It is unfortunate. I mean, you think I don't want to see it? Oh my gosh. But honestly,
who do I got to talk into it? Is it Kale? Do I got to talk Kale into it?
No, I don't think so.
You probably
so which party? Which party doesn't want in? Tell us.
I just told you. It's a bad idea for AJ Ferrari. It's a bad idea for AJ Ferrari to do this.
So Ferrari doesn't want it?
I think he would do it. I think he's probably getting counseled against it. If I had to guess.
Wait, did Carter say he would do it at 97?
What'd you say?
Did Carter say he'd do it at 97?
I have not heard that. 190 is a non-starter also. 190 pounds.
Why not? Let's have some fun here.
Why is 190 a non-starter? He's too big.
Yeah.
I still like my idea. 190 day before
Ferrari
weigh-ins.
can't make 190. You're saying?
Yeah, he could, but only in MMA.
Day before weigh-ins.
It's not a weight class in MMA. No.
It is. Yeah, it is. If you make it, it becomes one.
Oh my god.
No, I don't think so. Hopefully,
I think Carter should just go 187, whoop him up, and get it done with.
It's a close match, I think. But yeah. Anyway, we'll get into more
topic
All-Star.
Christian does not want to discuss.
I talked about it. There's nothing else to say. Matches.
Christian, did you watch my YouTube video where I said people can't cry and whine to Christian Powell's anymore? That was listen. When I was with Flo, it made me crazy that these people would complain to you about me. Call me and complain to me. I'm a big boy. I could take it.
That's fine. I could take it too.
Okay.
I did take it. How long we do that? 4 or 5 years? I don't care. I didn't say now, Ben. I never admonished you once.
No, I did feel guilty for people hassle. I felt guilty people hassled you because
Yeah.
listen, I like you, and I don't want you to have to waste your day dealing with me because I was a butthole or said something maybe someone didn't agree with. I didn't want you to have to deal with that.
Well, you're a nice guy for feeling that way, but it's okay.
Okay.
Anywho, well, hey, buy Extreme Balance on Amazon
And leave a review.
and leave a review and like it. Well, I actually did. I'm not going to pretend I read it, but scrolling on, I was like, oh wow, this would probably be good for Caleb as well.
Yes.
And
Yeah, it is. I don't want to say it's hard, and it's hard because in my opinion it has to be hard. And that's one of the things I think sometimes people want things to be easy and they want to say, just do this. This is obvious. And this book is like, well, no, here's two things, and you have to have some self-awareness, and you have to know kind of the way that you operate more naturally. You know where your own biases are, and think about that. And then you have to think about situations, and you have to think about which is the best part of my mind to use in which situation, which that's kind of hard. And sometimes people don't want that. But then the truth of the matter is, if you want to be great at something, you're going to do the hard thing.
true that.
Ben, I have a question for you before we move on to questions. You were a notorious trash talker, but I feel like none of your athletes really get involved in the trash talk. Why not?
They're all just good kids. I don't know. But I listen, I tell them sometimes you got to talk some trash, but they don't ever listen to me.
That's what I'm saying. We're, like, undeniably, probably, in my opinion, Parker Keckeisen versus Carter Starocci is a better, more intriguing matchup
Parker
for
would
wrestling.
never talk trash.
I know, but everybody's talking about AJ Ferrari versus Carter Starocci because of the trash talk. You just say, hey, Parker, throw some trash talk out there, get on your bad boy stuff, and hype this match up.
No, these guys would never. I mean, none of them. I've encouraged. Who was the last one I encouraged to say something to? And they're like, they're just good kids. They won't do it. They see it as like really bad. And so I'm not going to be like, I might mention, hey, do this one time. And I'm like, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. It's like, I'll say it one time. If they want to do it, they do it. If they don't want to do it because it doesn't feel genuine, then I'm not going to force them to do it. Like the bad boy, the bad boy of the group is Mitchell, you're talking about the Burroughs match. That he would never dream of. Like, if I said, Mitchell, you got to talk trash, he would be like, nope, there's no way. Like, I wouldn't even encourage him to, because I know it would just be wasted. Like, he wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, so it kind of has to come a little bit naturally. Like,
it's got to be genuine.
Yeah,
it's got to be genuine.
There's nothing worse than like clearly insincere, forced trash talk.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
And I know you're out there telling your 7-year-olds they got to talk trash and they got to be held back. Carter Starocci's making $1.3 million a year wrestling. Got to talk trash. You got to hold your kids back.
Oh my gosh! I did have this thing on Daniel's podcast. Ozzy, you guys saw on Ozzy. Ozzy, some kids they're picking on Ozzy. What was it they're picking on him about?
Whoops.
I don't remember. Anyway, so he went and tackled one of them. And
he tackled one?
Yeah, and then they like broke it up or whatever, and they're all set. And so I had to talk with him, like, Amy, men, and she didn't like to hear this, but boys are different than girls. And if you're a man and you guys are all in team environments, like, you got to stick up for yourself. So you have to be able to verbally defend yourself, which means give it back to them, right? Or you got to be able to physically defend yourself. Like, hey, if you don't knock it off, I'm gonna beat your ass. You got to be able to do one of those things.
A direct quote from Ozzy.
And if you can't do that, you're not going to get anyone's respect, and they're going to keep treating you like crap. So you have to be able to get someone's respect as a man. Obviously, when you've reached a certain level, you don't need to punch down. So if there's people below you, like people on my Instagram comments, I don't give a damn what they say, But if you're in like a peer environment, whether it's like a school or a team or whatever, you absolutely have to be able to gain other people's respect.
Yeah.
You guys agree with that or disagree? I know JD Raider agrees with that.
Totally agree.
Do you say agree or disagree?
You agree for sure.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
I don't know. I agree
California.
to an extent. I also feel like there's something to be said about recognizing when to just walk away from a situation.
For sure.
Yeah, of course.
That's always an option.
But if people are persistent, like, for example, and if someone on your team or kids in your school are persistently saying things and kind of like bullying you, especially if it's like multiple of them, then that's when it's like at some point you can't walk away. You got to get your respect.
One of my favorite video, Jocko Willink posted this, of course, the Navy SEAL legend. It was like a self-defense video. He's like, how to defend yourself against someone with a knife. And it just shows a dude is like being approached by someone with a knife, and just the other dude just sprints away and just runs away really fast and gets away from the guy. I thought that was funny from Jocko. And that's
Also,
he definitely advocates for that.
Part of defending yourself and gaining respect is also not getting extremely butthurt if somebody does insult you.
Yes.
Like joking
Don't be
about
so easily rattled.
Hit him with the M&M.
Yes.
The 8 Mile.
Which one? Oh yeah, just say that you're white
Yes.
trash,
Exactly.
whether you are or aren't. Yeah, I have bad vision. I have bad balance. I'm not flexible at all. What else, Tyler? Who's doing his own Eminem impersonation?
Sometimes you don't need to learn how to defend yourself. You just need to learn how to be funny.
That's true.
That's what I said. Verbally, you can verbally defend yourself. Also, that could be through humor. It could be through giving it back to them. There's a few different ways to do it.
Your mama joke goes a long way these days.
Absolutely.
Still play it.
Because if you're gonna get upset and you turn around and hit them with something, and then they get upset, then the heat's off you. Then
That's
it's
right.
on them.
That's right.
Yes.
Sometimes you might dig yourself in a deeper hole though if it lands flat.
Yeah, you just gotta keep going. Keep
true.
digging.
Keep going.
Keep going. You get to the other side. Keep that shovel, baby. I think the next great Askren trash talker is gonna be Aiden Sinclair. He's just got bad boy
Oh
vibes.
hell no, he won't do any trash talk. Are you kidding me?
I know.
I was bummed to see him go
He's
with
so
the
nice.
buzz this week. I liked the Koosh haircut.
No, I like this
Thank
is
God
this
he
is
shaved a little bit.
this is business Aiden. This is college Aiden. He's different.
Kyuka just won a world gold medal with the poofy hair, the broccoli cut.
Yeah.
Don't count it out.
I was trying to think of if I do have any trash talkers, and I don't know who. I don't know. Like I'm trying to think like who has a little bit of an edge to them that would, trash talk a little bit. And I can't really. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That'd be so funny if
Kind of a black eye. for
Kids these days
today.
so soft.
how funny would it be if one day Parker and Keegan just woke up and just became the most proficient trash talkers in
Yeah.
the NCAA?
Keegan comes out.
way.
First duel, he has a sleeve, tattoos, teardrop tattoo. Bad boy Keegan.
They're almost too nice, honestly. They're almost
They are
too nice.
Yeah. It's a black eye for your entire program, Ben.
Yes.
Do you want to get to some questions before? I don't even know what time it is.
Yeah, it's 11:23.
All right. So, Tyler, you want to get to select one or one?
Well, the first one that is specifically for Ben, I don't know if you guys want to answer this, but because it's been a while, but Kevin Mulder says we need an Olympics recap from Ben.
I actually did. I'm doing a few YouTube videos just to get my thoughts out there on AWA's YouTube channel, and I thought everyone overreacted. I don't know what your guys' opinion was. I thought they overreacted to the American men's freestyle performance.
Yeah.
I thought we were close on a few instances to gold medals, and one of the things I brought up was that we are going to have success at U17s and U20s, and the future is really bright. And then, sure enough, we went and won U17s and U20s, and then the other thing I said was that from a depth perspective, we can fill 10 weights with someone really good. And so when you condense them to 6, it definitely helps certain other countries who don't have 10 really good guys because it makes them look better because maybe they have 4 out of 6 isn't that bad compared to 4 out of 10, And so I think we'll do really, really well in these non-Olympic weight classes also coming up here in the end of October.
Yeah. We had another spirited folk style freestyle debate.
No, not that one again.
Yeah.
I actually have a question for you, Ben, because a big reason why, like I keep seeing this comment. A lot of people think that we should keep folk style, and that the reason is because it is the best for helping guys transition to MMA. And my thought process is it's true. Absolutely, it's true. But my thought process for me personally, as someone who did not transition to MMA as you did, is why would we focus on making our sport the best for a different sport?
That's not the focus. It's
Kind of
just a
silly.
byproduct.
Kind of silly. Yes, byproduct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be silly.
I'm glad to thank you. Okay, next question is
I agree with you totally.
has to do with MMA and wrestling. It says, Ben, when you made the switch to MMA and grappling, how long did it take you to feel comfortable fighting from your back? Was this something that took a little bit of unlearning?
No, I don't think so. I think almost immediately because you realize that's the rule set. So it's like, just do it.
And you were also rolling across your back like crazy in folk style, like
Yeah,
one of the
that's
only
true.
people to do that.
Yeah, or one of the first ones for sure. So yeah, that probably helped for sure.
This next one is from Travis on Twitter. He said, JB confirmed his anger with Penn State coaches, fans, and wrestlers. Do you think this opens the door for him to coach at the college level to some degree, college or RTC, or do you think he still doesn't have interest?
I don't know. I don't think I wouldn't connect those two personally.
Yeah, I would also not connect those two.
What do you guys think about the opportunity of him coaching?
I think it probably depends how successful he is in business. If he can make a bunch of money, because if he can't make a bunch of money in business, I always think about like going to be a college coach would be way easier. I mean, David Taylor's making $1 million, but most big programs are making, we'll say 250, 300,000. Somewhere is probably, and that'd be a way easier job than trying to go make it on your own business. So if he's not doing well, then maybe that would be an easy way to make a nice, solid living and something he would probably enjoy also.
It's a crazy lifestyle shift, though, from being an athlete where, Dake was talking about this. He's like, I get up with my kids, I send them off to school, I go do a practice, I come home, I eat lunch with my family, and then I go do another workout and come like that versus the college coaching lifestyle is very, very different. And Jordan's got five beautiful children, and I don't know, not that people with families don't do it, but I just don't see that as his next path. Obviously, if he wanted it, I think he would do fine.
Yes,
but it's never been something he seemed to have particular interest in. Right? He's been kind of consistent about that. Even the year he did it as an assistant for Nebraska, he was like, "That was not a good experience. I don't want to keep doing that. That was a distraction for my training."
Starting to dip his toes though, coaching youth. Starting his own academy.
But Cormier's got, he coaches high school. It's just a different, when it's your full-time thing.
It's your thing, yeah.
It's so different.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'd like it, but I just, for whatever reason, I always thought David Taylor would. He'd always talked about it. And I don't know, I feel like Jordan, now, who knows, in 15, 20 years, maybe he wants to. So I guess the door can be open a long time.
Yes.
The door was always be open.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why you might think about David Taylor doing it more than Jordan is I feel like Jordan is more renowned for his freestyle career than he was for his folk style career. He was a Hodge winner, but
his popularity is really around what he did internationally in 2011.
That doesn't change anything for me though. I think he could obviously be a great folk style coach also. I think he'll probably not want to, but then who knows? Maybe he'll get dragged back in somehow.
Just when you think I'm out, wrestling always pulls me back in.
City Wrestling Guy wants to know, are Old Dogs officially back? The Freestyle Gang put the band back together. We got 44-year-old on the Greco team. What's it going to take to get an FRL squad at Vegas Masters this year?
Old Dogs back on the menu.
Back on
the chat. Everyone wants us to talk about Keckeisen.
Mark Bader.
Keckeisen, 44 years old, on the team.
Impressive.
Certainly. Yeah, very impressive at 44. And he looks 44. I'm just saying. It's not like, a young 40. No, this man is 44.
He also kind of wrestles like it, too. He moves a little different.
He's kind of grumpy. It's like, this guy keeps grabbing my leg.
I got him up right here.
What a monster. I was happy he won. That was cool. Cool story.
I mean, not to poo-poo our Greco team, but also it's a little bit of a byproduct. He's 82 kilos. He's not gonna beat Jordan Burroughs or Aaron Brooks.
He wouldn't Greco.
You
think Jordan Burroughs would beat him in Greco?
No, Aaron Brooks.
Aaron Brooks.
Aaron Brooks versus him in Greco. I want to see it.
82. He's never gonna make 82 nothing.
Aaron Brooks can't make no damn 82.
He ain't make no 86.
What did Keckeisen wrestle trials?
I don't recall.
87.
87.
He wrestled 87.
He did?
Yes.
Not really.
And he made the finals.
He didn't want to.
So David Taylor was our second person at the Olympic trials at 86, a kilo below that.
Yeah, let's run it. There's only one way to find out. We just need to launch these guys into Greco.
Well, we were talking about in the office how funny it is that I thought that Vito would win, but if Marcus Blaze found out how to like figured out how to beat Vito, that would have been the craziest world team ever. Just 17-year-old Marcus Blaze, 31-year-old James Green, 34-year-old David Taylor, and 36-year-old Jordan Burroughs.
It's crazy. I mean, when Jordan made his first team, Marcus was like 4. What?
That is insane.
4 years old?
What year was this kid born?
I don't know. Mine is 17.
Do the math.
From right
Figure
now.
it out, buddy.
17. Well, he's 18-year-old birth year
2007?
this year, so he'd be 2006.
Oh my gosh.
6.
He turns 18 sometime this year. Those who would have been cadet eligible and ineligible for senior level.
Yeah. So he
So 6.
he was 6 when Jordan won his.
No, he was a 2006 birthday.
So like
2006 is
So
5.
depending on when his birthday is, he would have either been 4 or 5 years old.
So his entire wrestling consciousness involves Jordan Burroughs being in it, and he was almost his teammate.
Yes.
That's an insane thing. We have to do at least one more thing because the shocked FRL guy, he won a major parlay, and then JD and Tyler said, "No way, this dude's lying."
I was on his side. It was just
yeah,
JD.
that's right. Spay and JD were like, "This dude's lying," and so,
I only said he was lying about forgetting that he did this.
okay.
No, we have to pull up the. We have to. Pull
I think
up.
this is.
I said there is no way this man
what
placed this
happened?
bet, won so huge, and then just forgot about it for months. He either placed it and remembered, and then just told us.
And JD keeps saying months.
or
It's been weeks.
or you don't know when he placed this bet. You don't know when he placed this bet.
It's from the Olympics, though. That's the.
Well, he had to place the bet before the Olympics. We don't know how far in advance this was before the Olympics.
JD just doubling down. All right, so we're show the screenshot, Tyler, of this.
I got
this
it
man's
pulled
winning.
And the screenshot doesn't
there.
tell me when he
Has
knew he won
evidence.
this bet.
He knew he won this bet when Kyuka and Zamalov won.
Thank you. Months
the real
during the
thing?
Olympics.
What?
During the Olympics, that's when he knew he won the bet. You agree with me?
No, that's when he won it. I don't know.
Why did he
Someone
bet more?
explain to Ben. Ben is
$5?
confused.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Please throw a 20 on that thing. Jeez Louise.
So this guy is like, man, I forget what he said, but basically like he forgot that he had placed this bet, and then he went back there and was like, boom. And he actually thanked us because we put him on these guys, and he wants a handwritten apology from JD, which he's clearly not getting because JD just continues to yell at this guy.
Well,
Said shame on Spay, but I'm glad I could unite you and Tyler on this cause.
As an Eagle Scout.
Eagle Scout, which is ultimately a very honest profession, even though it's not a job.
look, I mean, congrats to this man. Sick flex for not carrying about $600.
He bet 5, won 577, all because of us. And are we asking for a cut? JD might. I wouldn't.
Why? He let me down.
Well, okay.
Damn it.
Sorry, Ben.
So sad.
I'm just saying. I think this guy might have remembered a month ago that he won almost $600. That was my gripe.
Just calling him a liar.
Hey, this sounds like you're making excuses.
Yeah, and we know who those are for specifically.
At the end of the day, this
making
guy
an
just wanted some
excuse.
credit.
Yeah, you just want a little credit. Just want to say, hey guys, I won $600. $5.
Congrats.
$5 bet is insane. But we openly mocked these lines. They were really bad, and but hopefully they continue to make them. It's 11:33. Ben, I want to give you the last word before we go. We're overtime.
That's it. I had a great time coming on the show. You guys made me miss it. Check out Extreme Balance and Get an All-In Journal for your young athletes. Hopefully, we can help them think better, and that's kind of what we've been able to do at AWA and have so much success as we get the guys thinking right.
Well, it certainly goes without saying, but you're welcome anytime, day or night, on this show, of course. And I have a
If I
theory.
come at night, am I allowed to swear more?
Yeah. I have a theory. Though what's going to bring Ben back with a little more regularity is he is not going to want to miss Pick'em season. That feels like part of it.
I can email in my pick'ems for sure, since I am the 3-time defending champion.
Even if you come back for like just that segment on the Thursdays, just for like
Not a bad
15,
idea.
20 minutes, maybe we look into that. And if not, you email them in.
Okay. Deal.
This could be very fun. All right, cool. Well, for James Dean Rader, Tyler Meisker, and Ben Askren, thank you so much
Thanks
for
for having
tuning
me,
in.
guys.
Thank you, Ben. Buy his books, for crying out loud. They're not just because he's my friend. They'll actually help you think better.
You don't know that. You haven't read it yet.
I know. I do know. Are you kidding me? I know it.
You read the Amazon reviews.
I absolutely know it. Play the outro
Busted.
music. Yes, please. That's just fine. Yeah, you don't have to read it to know, right? Thank you guys so much. We'll be back Thursday. That's just 2 days from now. Holy cow. We better start preparing. I don't know. Maybe talk who's number one.
Ooh.
Everyone keeps threatening to release this. David Bray, release the documents.
I think some matchups are released.
Some's not enough. I want to know it all. If only so I can send it to the coaches that are asking me what the lineup is for who's number
Well,
one.
I don't think it's a secret. I think there's still people that need to be figured out.
Well, time is of the essence. It is, as we speak, September 17th. I could be wrong. What do we not figure it out? Thanks, guys. See ya.